All right, I'm back. I just wanted to kind of show you a couple little techniques for removing film. First, scraping it, and then second, steaming it. Somebody's been doing something in here, making a mess. This lady said, nobody's ever touched my truck. I beg to differ. Anyways, so if you do not have access to a steamer, like a wallpaper steamer or something, you're probably gonna wanna be scraping it. For scraping, the best thing you can do is kind of just do it in long, sweeping passes. If you try to push it, you're not gonna have a good time. You know, it just doesn't really work all that well. Sometimes better than others, but the best thing, the fastest way to do this is you just hit it in these long sweeping passes and you'll just kind of blast right through it. You do have to kind of be careful with your hand. Keep a firm grip on the razor blade. You don't want to lose control of that. Sometimes they'll fold, cut your finger, make a big old mess, have blood everywhere. Some people might scream, cry, whatever. But so then that is stripping with the razor blade. Sometimes not too bad, not something you can do on a back window. If you want to salvage the defogger lines and antennas that are on a back window. I'm gonna steal this from you, Mike. We'll finish it up later. So the preferred way for doing side windows for me, if it'll work, it doesn't always work. It just kind of depends on the condition of the film. Is I use this steamer. This thing's dirt cheap, got it at Lowe's. It's made for steaming off wallpaper. Kind of a helpful tip. This is actually an air chuck. Same threads. Put it on there. Now you have a protective metal tip and you have something that you can kind of rub against the glass and get this started, which is sometimes really handy. I'll use this like around the dot matrix on back windows to kind of get in between it. Just really handy putting this air chuck tip on the end of the steamer here. Now, if we're lucky with the steamer, it'll pull off both the tint and the glue. And all you really need to do, put this steam right behind it here and just put a little bit of tension. You're not really pulling the tint off. The tint's gonna come off on its own. You're just keeping just enough tension so that when the tint's ready to come off, it's just following along. Nice thing about the steam, no chance of scratching the glass. Sometimes you get a little nib on a edge of a razor blade, you can scratch the glass. A lot of the newer vehicles, I feel that the glass is very soft and it will put like little microscopic scratches on the glass. And so I usually try to avoid any scraping on glass if possible. I'm not usually as concerned on older vehicles. Like I said, I feel like their glass is a little bit harder, a little more resilient to scratching. But definitely anything laminated, I'll try to use a steamer. Whatever won't steam off, I'll use a scrubby pad. And razor blade is my last resort. But sometimes, you know, with this film delaminating the way it is, it's not being the most cooperative, but it's still coming off. If this tint was a little less delaminated, there's a good chance we would have been able to get off both layers at once and have the glue come off with it. So let me show you one other thing. I'll just kind of rocking and rolling with this. Let's see what happens. The bottom, since I was scraping the top, Bottom might actually work a little better with us. Let's see. Nice thing about this too, with the steamer, is sometimes when you're scraping, you miss stuff down these edges. The steamer, usually that's the best spot to pull out. It'll stay with the film because it hasn't been exposed to the sun, and it's usually not in as bad of condition as the middle of the film. Let's go just a little bit more, and then I just want to show you one other little technique. All right, so the last thing, you can kind of combine the steamer and the razor blade. When it's really thin like this, you only have one layer of the film because it's delaminated. Just kind of steam it a little bit, and you can hit it with your razor blade and it'll come off nice and easy. So just a few techniques for removing nasty old film. A lot of people want to complain about what we charge for film removal, but there's a lot of times no easy way about it, and most of the time it takes longer to remove the film than it does to put it on in the first place. So don't give your tinners a hard time if they want to charge you to remove the film, because it's definitely a lot of work. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. I'll be back later when this truck's done. Alright, I'm just about done. Got all the windows tinted on it. Looks a lot better, that's for sure. Really kind of just dressed up the whole truck. Like I said, it was a nice looking truck, just needed some new tint. The last thing I have to do is put this back window back in, so I figured I'd show you real quick how that goes. We're gonna find out if I fit in the back of this truck with a camera on my head. So this is what you'd call a roped in back window. If you've been around glass, you probably know. If you haven't, well, you're gonna find out today. Just take a rope about 1/4 inch in thickness. It could be a little smaller, just sort of whatever you got laying around. Be strong enough to pull on. And I like to use these are tips out of the urethane that we use for installing auto glass, but really, I mean, however you can put that rope in here is just fine. I'm gonna feed it in. You think you can help me for a second, Mike? You can always say no. Watch me struggle, do this by myself. Like a boss. Yeah, I'm gonna go inside and rope it. Going to want some lubrication, maybe a tool. I got my hook tool, got my bone tool here. Maybe something to kind of help get this gasket behind the panels. Lubrication, just lube the gasket, soapy water, glass cleaner. Some people will use silicone spray. I just think it makes a big ass mess, but just something. Hand this up to Mike. Come on, Mike, it's 70 degrees. You round up. Oh boy, this is what 6'5" and 300 pounds a man looks in a Toyota back seat. You can pull this, give you a little extra room here, and all you're gonna do is pull this rope straight up. See, straight up, straight up. And as you pull it straight up, that glass is just gonna fall right in. When you get to the corner, you can kind of make a few little roundy rounds here, and then straight in. Come to the corner, straight down. Give it a slap, Mike. All right, now let's go to the bottom now that we got those corners done. Same thing, come around. Once you get to the corner, give it a little roundy round here. Pull it straight in, straight down, couple slaps. We got one little spot here, that'll be all right. And then come pull these to the middle and we're good. Now, what is the payoff in this, right? Thank you, Mike. What is the payoff? We got a little bad spot right here. I need to see what's going on. I got a feeling it's just not quite looped in. You're gonna want to be careful not to let your tools hit your tint. Done that a couple times. Hit the tint with a hook tool, and then I wonder if some of their Bondos messing with this gasket. Like I said nothing, no one has ever worked on my truck. It's like, really? Because the roof's been glued or welded on. You can see the Bondo and the paint overspray on the door windows. No one's ever worked on this truck. But, so, what's the payoff? Do all that little bit of extra work. This is the payoff. It will look like a factory piece of glass right here. No dirt around the edges, no lines, no seams, no nothing. Comes out fantastic. So this truck's done, and definitely looks like a whole new truck. But appreciate you watching. If you like this video, go ahead, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and keep trying to bring handy little tips, things I find interesting, just ways to make tinting a lot easier. Appreciate it. Thank you.